happy Friday to you. It is the 31st of October 2014. A very good evening. My name is Wavinya Wanyasa. We begin by taking a look at some of the stories making headlines. You must go. Bukinable opposition tell off incumbent. Curbing Ebola. Germany sets up first Ebola treatment unit in Liberia. Curbing insomnia. How to find balance in sleep. Welcome. Now, the people of Burkina Faso took to the streets on Thursday to demonstrate against plans by the government to change their current constitution to allow President Blaise Compaoré another shot at the presidency in the forthcoming elections. Meanwhile, the opposition has slammed coup attempts, saying the incumbent's exit from office is non-negotiable. Here's more on that story.
Speaking to international media, the Bukinable opposition say the army's seizure of power Thursday amounted to a coup, adding that they consider the president's departure from office non-negotiable. Opposition leader Benewende Sankara holds that the incumbent's move to seek constitutional amendments to pave way for another term in office during 2015's elections as a scheme to dupe the people and impose himself against their will. The violent protests by thousands resulted in setting ablaze of parliament, including Speaker's office, attacking the national television and radio headquarters. Opposition leaders had called for a blockade of parliament ahead of the vote that would have allowed Compaoré to seek 3 more terms. All said and done, it is no doubt that there are better ways of dealing with such cases to avoid innocent bloodshed. Kenya too suffered political violence in the aftermath of the 2007 contested presidential election. Consequently, individuals who the International Criminal Court's prosecutors thought bore the greatest responsibility are now facing serious charges of crimes against humanity at The Hague.
Well, this brings us to our feedback question of the evening. What do you make of the current situation considering Burkina Faso's protests? What do you make of the situation? Do SMSs on 20058. We'll get to sample some of your thoughts and post them on our Facebook page, WTV Kenya. Now, moving on, the fate of over 110 officers is not certain after radical changes were made to the top command on Thursday. The National Police Service Commission has introduced 3 new ranks to replace the 5 that were rendered outdated. Meanwhile, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission arrested 10 traffic officers for allegedly receiving bribes from motorists. Here's more on that story.
What the future holds for nearly 100 senior police officers is uncertain after radical changes were made to the top command Thursday. The National Police Service Commission has introduced 3 new positions to replace 5 that have been rendered out of date, affecting the positions held previously by 196 senior officers. The commission sitting in Malindi on Thursday adopted the new ranks, that is Senior Assistant Inspector General and Assistant Inspector General, in which about 50 vacancies are available. Accordingly, successful officers will be posted as heads of each of the 47 counties. Meanwhile, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Thursday arrested 10 traffic officers in Nakuru for allegedly receiving bribes from motorists. The anti-graft agency recovered 100 shillings and 1,000 shillings notes from traffic officers in charge of the Kiti, Eveready and Shiners checkpoint. EACC spokesperson Yasin Amaro has said that the officers will be charged with taking bribes and will also serve as a lesson to other officers who are engaging in such vices. Reporting for WTV News, I am Wairi Mombogwa.
Well, from that story to matters sleep. Lack of sleep is fast becoming a common phenomenon amongst many people all over the world, perhaps owing to the different pressures and stresses faced owing to the nature of this fast-paced world. Now we take a look at insomnia and how to achieve balance in this otherwise natural process. The normal human being requires at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep to achieve proper bodily function. Anything less than that, or the need for extra and often unsuccessful effort required to achieve this, is medically referred to as insomnia.
Cannot make up for sleep. It's very difficult. If you don't sleep at certain time that your body needs it, then you lost it. There is no makeup.
Insomnia is a relatively common sleeping disorder affecting about 1/3 of the adult population worldwide. The disorder is more common in women, but generally, quality of sleep often decreases equally in both men and women with the progression of age. That said, there are other contributing factors.
Sleep because we have an inadequate sleep hygiene routine. Second biggest medical issues. We underestimate the importance of a postnasal drip or allergy or a problem with a pain syndrome, a headache, restless leg syndrome. And people don't pay attention. Third reason we don't sleep is because we don't think it's important.
Just what is the importance of getting good quality sleep?
During sleep, the body is getting restored. So things that happen, bumps, bruises, little things that wouldn't normally bother us but could accumulate, get taken care of so that they don't bother us the next day.
Thankfully, there are certain measures, if religiously put to practice, that would aid in resolving insomnia. Sleep, just like all other important aspects of our lives, should be taken seriously and given much priority. Reporting for WTV News, I am Wavinya Wanyasa. On the international front, a German-built Ebola unit, or ETU, opened its doors on Wednesday in the Liberian capital, Monrovia. The international intervention comes in just days after the World Bank committed to support Kenyan medics willing to volunteer in the West African nation. Here's more on that story.
Liberia, the country worst hit by the Ebola outbreak, may be seeing a decline in the spread of the virus, though the battle to contain the outbreak is far from won, the World Health Organization has warned. With health workers on the front lines of the fight against the deadly virus, all too often do they become infected themselves.
The problem for sometimes now has been the absence of places in the country to take your sick people. We are here to provide patients with treatments, medications, and educate them on hygiene practice throughout the Ebola crisis in this country. We also offering a social welfare and counseling program.
Among the thousands of cases in West Africa, there are 443 infected healthcare workers, 244 of whom have died from Ebola. The WHO said it was undertaking extensive investigations to determine why so many had caught the disease. They said that there are indications that many of the infections occurred outside of the context of Ebola treatment and care.
As a humanitarian, the death of my employee and the subsequent Ebola crisis became more personal for me. Heartbreaking and soul-searching. There and then, I appealed to the German non-governmental organization Aktion Media, who joined forces with my hospital, Gallup Clinic, to set up these 2 isolation units.
Last week, Mali became the 6th West African country to report a case of the disease. A 2-year-old girl died after traveling by bus from Guinea with her grandmother, with at least one stopover in the capital, Bamako. The WHO said the Mali government was working hard to track people who had contact with the girl, with 84 people being monitored and none showing symptoms as of early Wednesday. Reporting for WTV News, I'm Zawadi Mudibo.
Well, just to remind you on the feedback question that we have for you, we are asking, what do you make of the situation in Burkina Faso? Share with us your views on Burkina Faso protests by letting us know what you make of the situation. Do send us an SMS to 20058 and we get to sample some of your thoughts and post them on our Facebook page, WTV Kenya. And finally, sons of a passenger on board missing Malaysian Airlines flight MH370 filed a suit against the Malaysian government and the national carrier on Friday over the loss of their father. Here's more with Marianne Jerry.
The boys G. Kinson, 13, and G. Kinland, 11, are seeking damages for the loss of support after the disappearance of their father, G. Jinghang, who was a passenger aboard Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 when it went missing 8 months ago. Although Malaysia Airlines and the authorities say they are doing all they can to find the plane, lead counsel Arunan Selvaraj told reporters on Friday no one had yet taken responsibility.
Now we are talking about what had happened on the 8th of March 2014. So we want answers. Basically, we want the responsible party. Nobody is coming forward. So we want answers. We want people to know actually what transpired. We want accountability. We want those who are responsible to come forward. Or we'll be able to, hopefully with this trial, we'll be able to get all this information.
The lawsuit is believed to be the first to be filed so far in Malaysia over the mysterious MH370 disappearance. Apart from Malaysia Airlines, the boys named the Director General of the Department of Civil Aviation, the Immigration Department Director General, the Royal Malaysian Air Force Chief, and the federal government as respondents. Arunan said the suit is not only limited to what the flight MH370 passengers next of kin have gone through, but also what the passengers themselves would have expected of the authorities.
And we feel that definitely he wants accountability and a closure to this case. So we have a lot of information which will hopefully help this case. And at this point of time, I don't want to divulge too much because it could prejudice the case.
The Boeing 777 with 239 passengers and crew disappeared on March 8th during a scheduled service between Kuala Lumpur and Beijing. It is believed to have gone down in the Indian Ocean off the coast of Western Australia. In the hours after the aircraft disappeared, a satellite picked up a handful of pings indicating the plane continued flying for hours. This has helped narrow the search to an area of the Indian Ocean, albeit large.
Well, that's it from our news desk this Friday. Do have yourselves a blessed weekend. My name is Wavinya Manyasa.